everyone, Rosabelle is here, and this is an overview for what to expect on Arknights' next event, Delicious on Terra, a crossover side story with Dungeon Meshi. As a disclaimer, the information is what was available from the CN server and is subject to change as usual. Starting with some quick info, you need to clear at least episode 110 of the main story to access the event. The event will run for 2 weeks with the normal story stages on week 1 and the EX stages on week 2. For new players, this is a Collab limited event, which we consider as an ultra limited event and banner. This is because this will not rerun unless Arknights collabs with Dungeon Meshi again. For context, the one and only time we had a collab rerun was when Arknights did a second collab with Rainbow Six Siege. How long between them? Operation Originium Dust was released on Global in August 2021, while Operation Loosen Arrowhead was released on Global on September 2024. So if you're planning to skip this event, make your peace now. We may never receive it again. First, let's talk about the new units. We will have 4 new operators available with this event, all of which are members of Laios' party in Dungeon Meshi. We'll start with the free unit we'll be getting by completing the stages and buying in the shop. This event's welfare unit is our favorite dwarf warrior chef, Senshi. He will be a guardian defender, healing allies while defending lanes. His talent is refreshingly simple. He has increased defense and increases the healing effects on himself by 10%. A note about his skills, he needs to cook, literally, for a certain amount of time before he uses his skill. So take that into account when you need him to activate. During the cooking time, he stops attacking. Both of his skills are quite interesting. His first skill requires him to cook for 3 seconds, and after which he will heal a nearby allied operator in the 8 tiles surrounding him. And he also applies a temporary random buff. It's either attack up, attack speed up, or max HP up. You can actually tell which one it is because he has a unique dish being cooked per buff. This is very much his general use skill. His second skill requires him to cook for 10 seconds, but during this time, surrounding allied operators will recover HP. Then he will heal all allied operators within his 8-tile range and restore a certain amount of mana. This is his stronger healing skill, but it is also very much targeted towards being used for our new 6-star, which I will cover later. The other 3 units will appear in the Terran Food banner. The first is Chilchuck, the half-foot locksmith of Dungeon Meshi. Here, he's classified as an Agent Vanguard, which gives him less redeployment time and lets him attack aerial units. His talent grants immunity from damage and elemental damage from environmental effects for allies within his attack range for a certain amount of time. This, coupled with his fast redeploy, lets him become a sort of a safety drop while building up your defenses. His second skill grants him physical dodge, increases his attack speed, and gives 1 DP per attack. The second 5-star is the tall man fighter and leader of the party, Laios. In Arknights, he's a dreadnought guard specializing in DPS and crowd control. Not gonna lie, I expected him to be the 6-star, but we got someone else. His talent lets him ignore 40% defense when he defeats an enemy for all other enemies with the same name, so he works best against swarms. His second skill makes him stop attacking and inflicts frighten to the enemy he blocks, and when the skill duration ends, he deals a boosted physical attack to the blocked enemy. And it's also one of my favorite animations for skills in this roster. Finally, the 6-star available in this banner is Marciel, the half-elven mage of Dungeon Meshi. Here, she's a splash caster, or as we call them, an AoE caster. Her first talent stipulates that her skills consume mana and can be activated at any time. While she has mana, she has increased attack and her AoE range expands. However, mana does not recover naturally. Instead, it recovers 1 point for every second while not deployed, or when you're using Senshi's second skill. Some notes regarding mana. Marciel can store up to 80 mana. Despite the description saying that her skills can be activated at any time, she still needs to get the SP to use them at least once. Finally, if Marciel is unable to be deployed at a time, her mana will not charge. So she has to sit in your deployment slots for a bit before you can use her again with full mana. Her second talent gives her plus 25 initial mana, and when there are 4 Laios party members in the squad, all Laios party operators gain attack speed and defense. Before we get to her skills, we have to talk about chanting. Marciel will chant for a certain amount of time whenever she needs to use her skill. During this time, she will stop attacking and attempt to activate her skill. If she is interrupted during this period by crowd control effects like being frozen or stunned, or if she doesn't have enough mana, the chanting and the skill will be cancelled. Keep this in mind as we go through her skills. She has 2 notable skills. Her second skill needs 11 seconds of chanting and will consume 35 mana, and it will summon a familiar which will attack and slow all targets. When used the second time, the familiar is enhanced to have increased attack range, attack speed, and the attacks will stun the main target. This skill has unlimited duration and can be deactivated anytime after the first activation, so ideally, you activate this twice. Use this skill if you want to keep Marseille on the field. Marseille's third skill turns her into a Helidrop Splash Caster. She chants for 5 seconds and uses 8 mana to explode the front targets, dealing a massive attack as arts damage, and shattering high ground tiles, stunning the surrounding enemies for 4 seconds. You will also have the option to chant for an additional 10 seconds to consume all remaining mana, and for every 8 additional mana consumed, she unleashes an additional explosion. This additional chanting can be stopped anytime, but honestly, why would you? This turns Marseille into a drop nuke if you can get her to full mana before using her skill. Since this is a collab banner, we are guaranteed to get Marseille at 120 pulls if you haven't been able to get her prior to that. We will also be given one free 10 pull on the first day of the event and another free 10 pull on the 8th day of the event. So if you really want Marseille, you just need to save 100 pulls maximum. These 4 units will be earning 50% more trust during the event. Because we're collabing with Dungeon Meshi, the overlying stage mechanics in this event will be about eating monsters. When starting a stage, all operators will suffer from hunger, which will continuously drain their health at a rate of 15 HP per second, and this scales up, capping at 200 HP per second. In order to counter this, every stage will feature a static device called a really big pot. The pot can be filled by defeating edible enemies, each of which will give the pot SP equal to its weight, and when the pot is filled, you can activate its skill to cook for 5 seconds and prepare a meal. Once a meal is cooked in the pot, all operators will lose the hunger effects, have their attack increased by 30%, and they will recover 2% of their max HP per second. There will also be special ingredients that can be added to the pot before cooking to add more unique effects. The pot will consume 1 SP per second while the meal is in effect, and will become empty again if the SP is fully depleted. However, defeating more edible enemies for ingredients will restore its SP. Now onto the rewards. You can get up to 25 OP in this event, and the farmable items are polyester packs, incandescent alloys, and fuscus fibers. We'll also be getting daily recipes with each stage clear, which is the event currency to buy items in the Rhodes Island Healthy Market, or the event shop. Notable islands in the shop include senshi pots, furniture, resources, and materials. Also, we'll be having the Have a Taste of Terran Monsters login event, where we can get 10 days of rewards, including the free 10 pulls on days 1 and 8, and a new limited profile picture. We'll also be getting some random and some resources on the side. Moving on to operator updates, operator records and paradox simulations will be added for Courier, Eunectes, Golden Glow, Jessica Altar, and Mitim. Operator modules will be added for Crusher Guards, which includes Quartz, Wind Chimes, Hoderer, and Pianus. This will give them a new trait which will increase the healing they receive by 20%, which is an amazing trait to add considering that this class has no defense and resistance. Leveling up the modules will also improve their existing talents. For Hoderer, it will increase the Sanctuary effect to self and the allied unit behind him, and increases his physical damage dealt by 10%. For Pianus, it will increase the amount of HP he restores whenever he takes damage, and increases it further when his HP is below 50%. Still waiting on the Abyssal Hunter support module though. The 4 collab operators will have modules right off the bat. Senshi's module will reduce the damage he takes by 15%, leveling it up will increase his defense and the healing effects on himself. Chilchak's module will make him less likely to be attacked, and at level 3, it improves the amount of time that his immunity to damage and elemental damage is in effect when deployed. Darius' module will give him a new trait where when defeated, he will not retreat, and instead will recover HP, but his max HP will be minus 60%. However, he'll have additional attack speed. Leveling it up will improve his talent so that a monster just has to die within his surrounding tiles for Liza's defense ignore to activate. Marseille's module will reduce her deployment cost by 8, and at level 3, it will give her more initial mana when deployed. Finally, Irene will be getting her second module, her X module, which will give her a new trait to deal 10% more damage with skills. Improving the module will increase the defense she ignores with physical damage, and she will now gain SP after defeating an aerial unit. As for the stores, The outfit store will have some ultra limited skins, which includes a skin for Marcial, Irene, Cruz the Keen Glint, and Lizzie. We'll also be getting a rerun of a few skins, which will include a skin for Mountain, Wildmane, and a Kafuyu. And for those with spendable money, there will be a lot of packs available for purchase. This includes a Dungeon Traveler's Memorial Pack, which will contain some limited Marcial themed profile pictures and 400 are random, and the Dungeon Tales Pack, which will include a new background and home UI skin, as well as 10 OP and 2.5k are random. Other than that, you can also buy a bunch of OP, resources, training packs, chips, and pulls as needed. And that's it for this update. I'm having my surgery very soon, which is why I'm posting this early. Hopefully, I'll be able to start streaming again next month. For now, I'm going to attempt to pull for Marcial, and we'll see if I can make some trust farms using her. Hopefully. And that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the event. Good luck to the people pulling on the banner, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!